Chords by seconds. Okay, there are three categories of intervals from which chords may be built. Thirds or sixths, tertian, right? We know that. That's common practice. We all understand that. Fourths or fifths, chordal, which we dealt with before, we talked about in previous weeks, or seconds and sevenths. Now, just by adding seconds to chords of thirds or fourths, it doesn't necessarily create chords by second. It really depends on the context. So much of what we're learning in this course is context in gives you the actual effects, right? Chords, a fourth, if it's in a diatonic context, may sound very like it needs to be resolving, but a fourth, if it's in a contemporary or a chromatic context, will feel completely normal. Same thing with chords by seconds. It depends on how they're used. So three note secundal harmony has a unique flavor used in many film scoring situations. For example, scenes requiring tension and unease. We'll see some examples. So you can use major and minor seconds may be used to construct these chords by seconds. The augmented second is actually a third, isn't it, right? So that doesn't really work. So there's four intervallic types of three-note chords. A major, major, like this. Play each note out just for things we can hear it. Right, so these are major seconds, or major and then a minor.
Is that the G?
Right, G natural, F sharp. Now, two minor, E, F natural, and G. Right, excuse me, minor, major. So the first interval is a minor second and then a major second. And then two minors, E, F. Right, exactly. So these are only the four options that you have. Two inversions of each are possible. So you can find, now one thing with terminology, he calls, when you have, because these chords, he doesn't want to call them root position, because some, a chord by seconds or a chord by fourths sometimes, it's hard to say what is the root. Any note can be the root. So he refers to it as fundamental. That's what we mean by fundamental. So here, this inversion, first the normal, just stacking like this, C, D, E. Now the first inversion, where we put the C on top, right? Now we can put the C and the D on top. Okay, right. So we're just inverting this chord by seconds. Chords by seconds may be arranged by sevenths, because that's the inversion, right? Just as chords may be arranged in sixths, and this should be chords of thirds, sorry, may be arranged in sixths, and chords by fourths in fifths. So C, D, E can be like this. C, E, G, and C, F, B flat. Right. So we can invert all of these chords. When chords by seconds are used in the close position, they tend to cramp easily. That's what we just saw, close position, when they're all in seconds, right? They become very percussive in the low register. Have to be very careful in using them there, unless of course that's what you want. Wide spacing of the seventh and the ninth lets the chord have more flexibility. So we're spreading them out this way. So this is fundamental with the C. That's a beautiful chord. Now, first inversion. I say it's interesting. You see, we end up with a major seventh, a major third, a major tenth being sounded here, and then we have a ninth here, just by all these inversions. So we're spreading them out. In the preceding example, spacing produces chords similar to ninths, but in a secundal chords by second context, they're chords by second in open position. Now, why did I write that? It's sort of a technical thing, but it's just remembering that how you analyze music is very subjective. It's the same thing if we put up Mozart. You think Mozart can only be analyzed one way? You're wrong. You know, people get doctoral dissertations all the time on analyzing Mozart, you know, a modulation 5 measures before or some modulation afterwards. So the point is that you know, music can be analyzed and can be interpreted in different ways.